Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to show you the multisim, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a riddle to solve, right? So first thing, what you do is you go to one of the homework labs and find a machine that has a multisim installed. If it doesn't, talk to the lab technician, and they will arrange it for you. So the multisim is installed, but most of the homework labs, they should have, especially the one right by the buses, building T, sorry. Then the open lab as well, it should have multisim installed. If not, let me know, and I'll talk to the IT personnel. Okay, so now once you fire up multisim, which looks like this here, you're going to see the opening screen. It's just a blank file. Now if you move the mouse around and let's say move the wheelie on it, you can zoom in and out, so you can accomplish the comfort of the zoom here. All right, and we're going to do that in a second. First thing what we're going to do is we're going to place components. All right, so here is in the top pane here, there is a menu that says place. So we're going to click on it once. All right, click and place, and the first thing here is says component. All right, so what can we place first? Let's place a resistor first. I'm just going to erase the whole thing. Now there's some menus there. There's different you can just keep it at the master database, and the groups, there are different groups of components. Okay, so we're going to choose the basic. Here it is. Here's a basic, and in there is a resistor. You can just click right on that, and by default the 1 kilo ohm is going to be selected, so why not? We can just take that, click OK. Once you click OK, that component becomes attached to the mouse. I'm not pressing any buttons, nothing. I'm just moving the mouse around as it is, and it's going to follow the mouse until I click, left click on it. All right, so let's just click on it and just drop it. All right. Now you can just keep placing different components, but I'm going to close that pane for now, and let's get a comfortable zoom view on this. Right, so first thing we're going to do, I'm going to change the value of the resistor to whatever I want it to be. So you can just right click and choose properties, or you can double click on it. You're going to get to the same point, and the first thing I'm going to go and change the value, choose the value. All right, and this is 1 kilo ohm, which is 1000 ohms, same thing. So I'm going to highlight that and just, or erase that, and press 330. This is a classic type of a TTL pull-up resistor value, and click OK. Now notice this thing has changed already. Now I don't like the position the way it is, so I'm going to select the resistor, and you see you can select the resistor so the whole part is being selected, or if you click on those little values here, they're going to be selected, and you can also move them around. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z. Actually, I'm not going to press any controls here now, because last time I pressed escape because I was going to say that I'm going to press escape, and this thing stopped the whole video, so I had to do it. I'm doing this thing again. All right, so anyways, am I still recording? I think I am. Yes, I am. I see the red dot here. Cool. All right, so I'm going to just select that by clicking right in the middle of it, and I'm going to hold Control and press R for rotating, because I wanted this thing to be positioned this way here. All right, so I'm just going to just adjust it somewhere. Now, what we need the power supply, and we need a ground. So VCC is good. Let's just find out where VCC is. So again, I'm going to go place, component, and instead of having a basic group, you can just go to all groups. So all groups are being considered, and here's the search window. Highlight whatever it is, just erase that. Let's say VCC. What is that going to give us? Yeah, okay, so that VCC right there, but let's just do it the hard way. Why not? You know, why would we want to do it the easy way if we can do it the hard way? Okay. All groups, so let's go to and choose the sources, and from there we're going to go power sources. Power sources, and there's a sub menu on the right. Oh, VCC is right here. Click OK, place it somewhere on the top, and from the sources we also need to select a ground. We always need to have a ground in multi-sim simulations, and there is the ground here. See, the symbol appears. That's what we want. Click OK. I'm going to place it somewhere on the bottom. We are going to need another ground. So you see, I just dropped it there. This menu all appeared again, so I can just keep placing the same component by clicking OK. So I'm just going to go like that, and that should be enough grounds for us, as far as I remember doing this. So I'm going to close that, and let's just see what we have. We can move the resistor up a little bit and connect it. How do we connect? How do we make connections? I'm zooming in. I just have to use those sidebars here to move the view around. If you just mouse over that here, see the dot appears, and you can just, because the grid is employed. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen or not. So click on that, and now once you clicked once, you don't have to hold it, just click and the line appears, so you can connect that wherever you want. We're going to connect it to this resistor, so the dot appears, and click that. Alright, so the connection has been made, the line turned red. Alright, so now we're going to do, we need a switch in order to create ourselves a pull-up system. Alright, so let's just place a component. Place component, and in this case here I'm just going to go here, say all groups, highlight this, and we want something that's called a single pole single throw SPST, so single pole single throw, and look, we have the switch. You can have it closed. Let's have the one that is closed. Right. This one is normally open. This one's going to be normally closed. Let's have the normally closed. Click OK, and I'm going to place it horizontally just so it's easier for me to see when I operate that. All right, and I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to move the ground a little bit to the side, so you'll see what is. Now I'm going to move that label here. Now I can. Switch closed. Can I operate that? You know what? SPST closed. We can't operate that, can we? I don't know what's wrong with this switch. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to get the other switch. So again, place component SPST. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, place it in the same spot. Looks a little bit different. Close now. Select that. Move a little bit to the left just to align that. And we're going to connect that right here. We're going to connect this right here. I'm going to move that label towards the left. Now this says key equals space. So if you click on the switch, now careful, because sometimes when you click you're going to operate that switch, so you got to find the spot sometimes. Yeah, I was just lucky that it just selected the whole component, and I'm going to right click and go properties, and you see key for toggle, and it's this space. That's when you press the space you're going to open and close the switch. That's very convenient. But what you can do is you can choose pretty much any character on the keyboard or any key on the keyboard to operate that. If you go A and go OK, A, OK, so key A. So if I press A, it's going to open and close the switch. But let's just go back to the space. So I'm going to double click. Oh, see, double click again. You can right click and choose properties, or you can double click on the component. Let's choose the space. It's easier to find, easier to hit. Okay, now it's changed back to space. I'm just going to place it conveniently right somewhere here. Right? And let's leave that switch open. Now, so we have our pull-up system. Here, switch 1, I'll move that here, just to make things more clear. So at this point, it's a pull-up system. When the switch is open, this point right here, this whole connection, that thing is pulled up to the VCC, so it's going to have VCC level. Now, if the switch is closed, then of course that makes a direct connection to the ground, so this is going to be pulled to the ground, so it's going to be logic 0. Open the switch again, this becomes logic high. So when the switch is open, this whole system idles, it's pulled up to the VCC, so it's a pull-up system. That's what we want in this case, right? Now, let's place some gates here. Now, place component and erase that in the search window. Let's see what is going to happen if we type AND gate, A-N-D. Oh, as soon as I type AND, I get things that have to do with AND gates. So here's AND 2, that's a 2 input AND gate. There's 3 input. Oh, I can have 8 input AND gate, but we're just going to use 2 input AND gate. So click OK and drop it somewhere here. Somewhere here. What can we do? I'm just going to double click on this because it's becoming too crowded here with all the labels and stuff. So just double click on the gate or select, right click and select properties, and we're going to move on to the display. And I'm going to say use the sheet visibility settings. So that's the default settings of what values are being displayed or what information is being displayed around this gate. Now, we don't need to know that this is U1. If you have a lot of them and you make reference to them, yes, you might want to keep those designations here. But this, in this case, is just crowding the whole thing. So I'm just going to select use the component specific visibility settings. I'm going to set that, and this is going to light up. See that? And I'm going to, you know what? I'm just going to deselect everything. Click OK. So we just have a plain AND gate here. All right. What else can we do? Oh, well, we're going to, let's just get instead of LEDs, because on the breadboards in the lab, we're working with breadboards, but we can make ourselves, make some things easier for us by selecting something that's called a probe. It's a multi-sim thing, all right? So we're going to go place, you will see what I mean, place, component, and you could just type probe here, but I'm going to do it the hard way this time. I choose to. So let's see which groups, and it's going to be in the indicators here, the indicators, and oh look, there's a probe. All right, master database indicators probe. Oh yeah, because we have nothing's happening because I still left that not. Looking for the NOT gate. I'll show you. So I'm just going to erase that, and look what's going to happen. There we go. The search window is empty, so now it's just showing whatever it is, not something that contains the letters NOT. All right, so let's choose a red probe. So you can green probe, red works pretty good. All right, so it's nice and visible. So probe red. Okay, and we're going to have 3 probes. So I'm going to go click, and this automatically reappears, this menu. Click OK, click again, click OK, click again, and close. Now, we can still, all right, still double click on this, and it's showing 2.5 volts. That's the threshold voltage. It's basically what it's telling us is that when the voltage at this point, when it sees if it's connected to 2 volts, it's going to light up. If it's going to be less, it won't. All right. Okay, so now we can set it to whatever values you want. Remember, we were talking about those forward bias on the LEDs. You can use that as an LED. Or you can just adjust this threshold value to according to the whatever values you have, like for example TTL levels. Okay. So we're going to select whatever we want to display. So here, select that, and let's say show values. No, and then go OK. So that 2.5 volts disappears. Same thing here. We just know it's 2.5. Here it's still there. It's just not being displayed. So show values here. Double click or right click and click properties here under the display, and use whatever you want to display, and just click off the values. So you have probe X1, X2, X3. We can name those as well. Label value label here X1. We can just type A and B, right? Or X and Y and Z, whatever. It's going to show here. I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so I'm just going to tuck them aside here. We have a switch, we have that, and let's just get one more resistor. So you can just go place component, and then you go basic and resistor, all right? But you can also do is just click on that or right click and copy, and then just move your mouse somewhere else, and as soon as you press Ctrl V for paste, that is going to be attached to the mouse. So I'm not pressing anything, I'm just having that attached to the mouse, and it's going to be stuck to the mouse until I click it to drop it. Alright, so there you go. So automatically the value of that label increments. So that was R1, so that is called R2 right now. Excuse me, and we're going to excuse me, I need a little bit. Here's a coffee sip, clear my throat. Now I'm going to right click and choose properties, or just double click on it and change the value for the R2 to, let's say, choose the value here. We want that to be 470. That's a good value. Okay. And place it somewhere here. There you go. And we can place that ground right underneath that. All right, and I'm just going to connect that to here. Now, I could do it this way, or I'm just going to click on the red line and hit delete in order to delete that line. I could just not use this ground, and I can go that way. See, I just clicked it and connected right to here. That should be fine too. Same thing. I can still move that line, can I? There we go. All right, but now this thing is connected here, so it's becoming a little bit messy around. So you know what, that's just much more, that's just cleaner here. Connect, and I think we want this thing one lower. Is that the same level? Yes, it is. Just aesthetics. Anyways, okay, so here's that resistor connected to that ground, and we're going to connect the output of that gate to this resistor. Right? So what else we're going to do? Let's just, for kicks, connect this input to the pull-up system here, and this input also to the pull-up system here. Let's place the indicators. Indicator 1, so that's going to be the first input, that's going to be the second input, so we can just drop it a little bit lower, just so we could have, okay, so this one goes to the higher one, this one goes to the lower one, so now we want which is which, we know which is which, and let's drop this one here right at the output. Okay, not a big philosophy. What is going to happen? Well, when we operate, those LEDs should light up, or this probe should light up, right? So let's just close the switch and nothing happens. Ooh, why is it that nothing happens? Oh, wow. Okay, well, here is that section right here, right? So here, see that play button, and once you mouse over that, you just right over your mouse with that, and it shows run. It's just like a play button. Then if you, okay, let's just open that switch. If you click on that, then the simulation starts. The circuit becomes, the whole reality becomes alive. Okay, so let's click on that. All right. Oh, wow. All of a sudden, the lights just lit up. Why not? It's an AND gate, so the switch is open. So that point here is pulled up high. So we got high here, you got high here. 1, 1, 1. And 1 gives you 1. Wow, works so far. Let's see what happens when we close the switch. Whoa, we got 0 and 0. We got 0. Nice. Right? Right, so let's just stop the simulation right here, because anytime you want to change something about the circuit, you gotta stop the simulation. So click, that thing becomes green, which means it's ready to be pressed. All right, now let's just get rid of all the connections over here at the input. So I'm doing that, selecting those lines and pressing delete, clicking on those lines, pressing delete, clicking on those lines, pressing delete. So we got almost a fresh input start here. All right, now let's connect the bottom one to the pull-up system, the second input, and we can just get the indicator just to show what the status of that line is once we press the simulation run button. Excuse me. Now we're going to get one more component now, right? And it's going to go place component, and we're going to go all groups and just type in the search window NOT. It gives you the NOT gate, which is the inverter. All right, press OK and drop it somewhere here. Right? And we're going to close that. Let's just shift it a little bit to the left, double click, and just let's clear up the display of it. Let's just not display any information about it, because you know it's a NOT gate, it's an inverter. Click OK here. So now it's nice and clean. You can see it. Right. So that input of that inverter, we're going to also connect it to the same pull-up. So what's going to happen now? Okay, well, it's output of the inverter. We're going to connect straight to the input, the first input, and we're going to drop the LED here, or connect the probe to show what the status of the. This way, we know what the status of the inputs are, and we know what the status of the output is. All right, let's start simulation again. Press play. Oh well, it kind of makes sense, right? Here's the VCC. Now here the inverter inverts, so we have 1 here because no, we have a 0 here because that thing is pulled out right to the ground, and on the other side of the inverter 0 becomes 1, so this is high. So yeah, it showed up that this is high. Now this other input is directly connected to the switch, which is closed now, which is pulling everything to the ground, and of course it's going to show low. So here we got high and low. So we got 1, 0 in the AND gate. It's a no-no. Well, it's not a no-no, right? It's not an invalid state. It's a state of the inputs that is going to produce 0 on the output here. Now, here's something what I want you to think about what is going to happen now. Right? I'm going to operate the switch and watch closely what is going to happen. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay? So I can just operate the switch with the mouse, or I can just press the space bar because the space operates this switch here. So look what's going to happen. All right, this light became off and this light became on. And of course the output is still 0 because now we have 0 here at this input because that is this point is pulled up high, and the inverter is going to make it low out of it. So now we have a low at this point and we have a high at this point. No, that's still going to give us 0 on the output. Okay. So what's the whole idea of running it this way? Well, just keep watching what is happening, and I'm going to ask you to see if you can figure out what is actually happening in this circuit. And I'm going to ask you that question next time I see you in class, which is going to be next Tuesday. All right, today is July 13th, so a week from now I'm going to ask you what could it possibly be happening when I operate the switch. Now look, I'm going to close the switch and nothing is going to happen except these two, the status of these two lights is going to reverse. Right? Let's see here. All right. Okay. Did anything happen to the output? No, it's still 0 because now this one is 1, this input is 1, and this one is 0. We need to have both 1 for that thing to become on, to turn on. to be in order for that output of the AND gate to be 1 or high in order to light this up. All right, so let's open again. All right, we can just keep reversing those, and we can just keep reversing those, and we can just keep reversing those. Did you notice something? Right? If I just keep pressing the spacebar, when I close the switch, nothing happens, just these two lights reverse, the two inputs. But when I open that, I get a short blink on the output. What could that be? All right. Again, let's try it again. Close the switch, nothing happens. But when I open the switch, I got a short blink. Well, it didn't happen this time. Let's try it again. Come on, blink for me. All right, there you go. Blink. All right, and blink. It only happens when I open the switch, never when I close it. Right? So I'm going to ask you a question. Why is it that this is happening? What is happening here that when I close the switch, the lights reverse, but there's nothing that's going to happen on the output. But when I open this switch, the output LED blinks for a little bit, right? For a very short period of time. Again, open, see, there's a blink. When I close it, no blink, right? All right, I can just keep doing this all night, but hey, you know, it gets boring after a while. Anyways, so I'm going to ask you, see if you can figure out what is actually happening based on what we have learned so far. Look at it, think about it, and see if anyone can figure out what is happening here. Right? So I'm just going to stop the simulation, and I'm going to stop the recording. Okay? And I will see you when I see you.